Hi guys, welcome to Crypto B101, the home of value and good information when it comes to cryptocurrency trading and investment. This is a brand new week, but is it a brand new entry for us to get into all these asset classes? Because we can see they are now in green. Yes, we're going to discuss about that today, and you all know this is the Bitcoin and Breakfast Show where we trade it and we do not gamble it. I'm Ahmed Olad Magic Azim KC, the great. And if you take a look at the market over the weekend, we saw that movement a little bit, especially yesterday and the day before yesterday. We saw BTC move from 106,000 to about 110,000. That's about 5,000 points. But do we need to get into the market? Do we need to start, scaling in from now on? We're going to discuss that on the show this morning. And if you're just joining the show for the first time or just coming across the channel, please subscribe, like, and share. And do not forget to turn on your notification bell so you can always be notified before. And because this is a live show and it comes on at 8 a.m. GMT, 10 a.m. CST time. For matter of fact, I'm recording a little bit 1 hour late today, but it was due to one or two reasons. But before we move on, let's share the link to the group. So let's share the link to the group to be sure if we hold on, I got something now. Let me just check. Let's share the link to the group in the community. And I always say, if you've not joined the community, you might want to join. It's a good place to interact with other traders, investors, and also you can get signals, you can get, all those things to come on with you when it comes to crypto space. Let me check this thing now because hold on guys, join the live now. Join the live now. Live now. All right, that's that about the community. Let's take a look at it on the. I need to check something out to be sure you guys are seeing what is going on. Hold on, yeah, it's on. Let's see if it's recording. We just need to be sure. Just want to be sure you guys are getting what is going on now. All right, that's that about the community. Let's take a look at it on the. I need to check something out to be sure you guys are seeing what is going on. Hold on, yeah, it's on. Let's see if it's recording. Okay, so perfect. Perfect, guys. I think you can hear me loud and clear. And I can see some of you on the line. Please comment if you cannot hear or see me again, so I'll know if this thing is lagging or not. All right, let's quickly share the remaining links on the social media handles as well for the lovers of this space so they can join us as well. But we can see that BTC already touched where I said we could buy. But the reason why I did not really post on the other group or on the social media handles for us to get into the market was because I did not see a structure you understand, to pull us down to that buy that we saw over the weekend. You understand? And I have my reasons for that because when you have a pullback in a structure form, it shows that yes, we can use the 0.781 Fibonacci to enter the trade. But that didn't happen. We only saw a straight pullback. And when you have a straight pullback like that, if you get into the market, it's going to be a 50-50 chance. I'm not going to lie. But if at the beginning we got that thing I was looking for, yes, we should be in the market for now. But since that didn't happen, I think we just need to wait a little bit because remember, the market might just be pushing up and later what? Push back. So we need to be careful about that. All right, we'll share the link, finish. Let's dive right into the show. And like I said, you can see BTC is trading at 111,000 right now. Do we get into the market? Yes and no, and I'm going to explain that. Yes, because if you look at this, you can see we had an engulfing, yes, no, this was today, yeah, yesterday. We saw an engulfing breaking above 107,000 US dollars. So that kind of look like a buy today when we now break above 109. But the reason why I'll say we should still wait a little bit to have a good confirmation is because this engulfing is not from the down. It's a continuation of the candle that was brewing up. So when we have something like that, even though we get into the market, we must always be ready to get out of the market. That's why I said it's a buy and it's still not a buy. So now let's just say, for the sake of early entries, let's turn this thing back to green. So let's say we're getting back into BTC right now. Remember, this is not financial advice. It's just for educational purpose and entertainment. Make sure you do your own research and trade with the money you can afford to lose. So we can get into the market now. The real entry is at 109. So it has moved a little bit, about 3,000 points. So we can wait for it to trace, or we get into the market right now. But please and please, if you are using this signal to get into the market, make sure your stop loss, your stop outs, when you need to get out of the market, should be at 107,000. Because the reason is that we have this market breaking out through an engulfing, but it's not starting from the down. So the market might pull down back. So we do not want to get caught in that scenario. So you can get into Bitcoin right now. You can take a buy right now. But please and please make sure you put your stop out at 107, and don't over leverage. And if you're even thinking about leverage trading, join my community. Signals for leverage trading is free. But if you're a spot trader, you're an investor and all of that, you can get into the market right now. And we're going to see if it to continue. If it continues, fine. If it doesn't continue, we're going to leave the market at 107. And why I'm saying that is, you can see the news that are coming out for BTC this morning. They are not really, encouraging like that. Like this now, Bitcoin may drop below 100,000 as crypto market cools. XRP and Shiba Inu is pressure. Another news regarding Bitcoin is Bitcoin instant fear and greed index enters extreme fear zone. And we all know when the market gets to extreme fear zone, that is when you need to start doing what? You need to start DCAing your positions. That is dollar cost average. You can start buying. Maybe you want to buy for $1,000, you can buy $100 first, buy another $100 when you move up, like that. When you come there again, you buy. So when it's at extreme fear, that is even the best time to get into the market. And the reason why we're talking about this cycle is over is because we can see all the news that are coming out of the space are not really bullish enough, rather bearish kind of. Because take a look at this again, you see that Bitcoin now faces tough part as long-term holders keep selling. And the moment you see the long-term holders, especially the whales, dumping the crypto, you should know that maybe they are done with this cycle and they're going to wait to get back in. So that's what I'm saying. The news or whatever we're getting is not really encouraging. So we might see a pullback, but I'm not sure if we're going to break the all-time high again. But we're not in bear cycle as well yet. And you can see on-chain data shows realized profit of 1.7 billion per day, while revived supply from old wallet reached 2.9 billion. You can see people taking profit 1.7 billion per day. That is a lot of money coming out of the cryptocurrency market cap. And talking about BTC, that is a lot of volume leaving the markets every day. So with this, I feel like this cycle might be coming to an end. And if that is going to happen, we need to be careful so they don't dump or crash again, and all of you that you're holding little bit profit and you start seeing it. And one thing you need to understand, yes, we did not experience a lot of meme coin or altcoin season like that, but like I said, this cycle is different. It's being run by institutions. So if they don't really like the meme coins and the altcoin, they will not put their money on them. So maybe that is why maybe we're not going to have altcoin and meme coin this season. We should just accept that. And if you agree with me, some of the altcoins, they performed well, like Ethereum to all-time high, Solana, even XRP from 30 cents to $3. That's not bad. It's just that we are waiting for it to get back to maybe $10 to do those massive rally. You should understand, the moment all these institutions get into the game, they manipulate the market, and the whole thing will definitely change. So now it's a tough part for BTC, and we're seeing long-term holders dumping. And you can see what I'm seeing right here. Yes, the market is pushing back. And that's why I'm saying, even though you get into the market right now with this engulfing that we found there, don't forget to put your stop loss at 107 because the market might dump back. But for now, and one thing you need to know, that even though we're buying now, it's still not bad, because imagine we get into the market right now, maybe around 110, and the market move to maybe 117 and create a sell for us to get out of the market. That's still a little bit profit, you understand, before it to continue dumping. What you need to know is we're going to be seeing a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and this movement might just push down to maybe 114 there, about then to start coming down again. And not done with that, you can see what has been said about BTC again. Wales bet against market opens 116 million US dollar Bitcoin short. So like I was saying, there is no positive news that we can say, okay, oh, with this news BTC might move back to 125 or 130k. I just feel like this entry that happens yesterday or this morning around 109,000 is just to push the market a little bit higher. Let's even check what the Fibonacci will look like. Let's see from here down here, the market retraced back to 618, which is good. Now we've not seen the breaking out, so let's now use this little one right here. Let's say, okay, if we move, so we might be taking profit at 113, 114 for this entry, because the market might get to this point, do some rally and start dropping back. But as you all know, the fortune teller will tell us what we need to do. All right, that's that about BTC. BTC is, yes, getting momentum back, but the news and whatever coming with it is not really looking good. And let's take a look at altcoins as well. You can now see most of the altcoins also are dropping. You can see EOS dropped 13% in bearish trade. Cardano dropped 10% in bearish trade in the sell-off. XRP dropped about 7% in the volatility market, and you can see it's really not looking good for all these what will I call it, crypto altcoin space. And you can see now Wall Street altcoins earning Q3 earnings week with first inflation data amid US shutdown. So this is another thing that I feel like is even going to affect crypto more. I feel like maybe if we didn't have government shutdown and all those ETF that were on SEC, that's the SEC table, were approved, probably maybe that would have, propelled the market a little bit further. Then we're going to experience some altcoins. But this government shutdown just break the whole thing. And now the Fed rate cut that is coming up again might be another catalyst, because if we do not experience maybe 50 basis points to 70 basis points, we might just see investors dumping crypto and start buying gold. We saw what gold is doing. Let me show you the chart. Gold is just skyrocketing from all-time high to all-time high to all-time high. You can see from 3,006, we created 4,000 all-time high. Now gold hits about 4,300 all-time high. That is crazy. You understand? And I read an article over the weekend when they say JP Morgan and some other Wall Street, are now longing not Bitcoin, excuse me, gold. And whenever they start doing that, it shows that there will be a kind of economic slowdown. So, and if the economy is going to be slowed, job is reduced, no money inflow, crypto is going to suffer a lot. And you can see that's why everyone is pouring cash in gold. There were a lot of pictures going on online. People were queuing to buy physical gold so they can hold on to it. So I just feel like this whole thing is not really looking good for crypto, and that is why I'm thinking this cycle might be over, and we just don't want to accept it. Maybe it's time we start taking profit and start looking and waiting for bear market to come so we can get back in it. But this is not financial advice, it's just for educational purpose and entertainment. Make sure you do your own research. All right, before we dive into the chart fully, let's take a look at some other news on the radar. And this one is Japan considers allowing banks to trade digital assets such as Bitcoin. You see, one thing I want to tell you guys today is I feel like if this cycle is over, the next cycle is going to be crazy. And I'll tell you why. Last cycle, people didn't believe crypto will perform like that. But I'm not gonna lie to you. The mainstream didn't join then because they were still doubting, because they saw when BTC went to 1,000, drop back to 200. BTC went to 20,000, drop back to 3,000. So they're having this mindset of, oh, this thing is just going to crash, it's going to cost coma and all of that. Now, the witness BTC went to 69,000, dropped to 15,000, and recover to 70,000 back. You see, and that is why a lot of them now start feeling like, oh, I think we missed out. So all these news coming out, I feel like it's just going to be the preparation for the next bull run, not this bull run, except we're gonna have a different cycle. It's not gonna be the 4-year cycle we normally have again. So I feel like all this good news, all these things coming out of different countries, they want to launch stable coin, they want to do this, they want to do that. That will be what we propel or push Bitcoin to a massive number next bull cycle. I'm not going to lie to you. Next bull cycle, come 2029, is going to be a huge one. So I feel like you need to stick to this show. So we'll always bring the best for you and tell you when you need to get in, what not you don't need to, do regarding your portfolio. And still on Japan, you can also see Japan considers allowing banks to what? Hold crypto like XRP in adoption push. So you can see this is another positive news regarding cryptocurrency market, and I feel like next bull run is going to be massive, except we're going to have the super cycle everyone has been talking about, and that means this cycle is going to be more than 4 years. But until that happens, we're going to stick to what we've experienced for like 3 or 2 times before. So having said that, we need to always put a mindset on that. And now let's take a look at what the cryptocurrency market cap is looking like before we jump into the chart analysis. Don't worry, we're going to get to the chart analysis and I'll tell you what you need to do. You can see the crypto market has now dropped about 500 billion out of the cryptocurrency market. We were sitting almost 4.3 trillion then, and now 3.8 trillion. That's about 500 billion losses, and that is huge. And you can see the market are still in red. They've not fully recovered. If you look at the 7-day percentage, it's still in red. So the market might still dump. So we might just scale in, make some profit for this reversal, or maybe we're going to see a proper structure that will propel it. And you can see the last 24 hours trading volume is at 160 billion US dollars. And you can see the trading token there. Esther is back to the trending token. It's always been there. I think it was there for like a month before it was now out, but now it's back on it with about 7.7% profit in the last 24 hours. And you can see the top gainers as well right there. All right, let's take a look at the cryptocurrency ranking, which is the top 10 like we normally do on the show. And you see BTC still remain number one, and the market cap is still at 2.2 trillion US dollars. Ethereum at number two, Theta at number 3, BNB has now been dropped down to number 4 from number 3, XRP number 5, Solana number 6, USDC number 7, Lido Stake at number 8, Tron at number 9, and Dogecoin is sitting at number 10. RAP ETH has been kicked off top 10 for like a week now and is not being able to move back on it. The likes of Cardona and other cryptocurrency are now trading or are below top 10. Also, if you're interested in knowing where your project sits on the cryptocurrency market ranking, you might want to check that out on CoinGecko.com. All right, I haven't said that. Let's now check what the chart is looking like. And while we're checking, don't forget we need to know what the event of the day will look like. We all know we've not been getting all those events happening. We've not even been getting data and all of that because of the US government shut down. And now with the pool that came out over the weekend, they're even suggesting this might get to November, and I feel like that might be the problem, or that will be the beginning of what will pull the crypto bull run back into the bear market, because the moment the things stay longer, it's going to start affecting a lot of things, and we're going to see the result in the nearest future. So you can see today being Monday, October 20th, 2025, nothing to write home about when it comes to event of the day. And why? Because the government shutdown is still going on in United States. All right, let's now dive into the chart fully. And like I said earlier on, Bitcoin, it's not a buy and it's a buy. For an investor, for spot trader that you know that you want to be patient enough, you can wait. But if you know that, okay, you want to scale in now, and probably if you continue moving, you're going to hold on to it. You can get into the, because we have an engulfing here, so you can buy right now at 110,000, but make sure you put your stop loss at 107. Make sure you put your stop loss at 107,000, please, if you're getting in now with this signal, because this signal might not be strong enough. It might just pull up to around 114,000, then start dumping back, or it will just go and test this 116,000 to create a double top there, and the market will drop down. So you can get into Bitcoin now, but please and please make sure your stop loss is at 107. And remember, this is not financial advice, it's just for educational purpose and entertainment. Make sure you trade with the money you can afford to lose. All right, let's take a look at ETH. If you look at ETH is not a buy at all, because you can see we created a structure, this didn't overlap this, so it's just a push back. And if you're seeing this now, that might say a lot of things with the Bitcoin entry as well. It might just put a little bit up and start coming down. So ETH is not a buy yet. We need to wait for the structure it created at 4,300 for us to get back into the market. Let's take a look at links. If you look at links, link is doing the same thing like Bitcoin. We have this market now creating an engulfing, and it's a buy. So if you're getting into link as well right now, you can buy link now, but make sure your stop loss is at what, $16. So let's take a look at link to let's say link is a buy right there. Let's change it to green. Then our stop loss is at $16, just like Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a buy right there at 109. Then make sure you put your stop loss at 107. All right, let's check other altcoins. AAVE, it's not a buy, no good structure, no engulfing, so stay away from it. Let's take a look at Solana. Solana too, no buy, no good structure, no engulfing, stay away from it. Let's take a look at BNB. I told you BNB is still a buy because the stop loss is at 850. So if you're still holding on to BNB, you can still hold on to it. And if you've not get into the market, I think is at discount right now, you might want to get into BNB. So BNB is still a buy. because the stop loss is still at 850. Let's take a look at Litecoin. Litecoin is not a buy. Please stay away from Litecoin. Let's take a look at Sui. Sui also is not a buy. Stay away from it. Let's take a look at AVAX. AVAX is doing the same thing with Bitcoin. You can see we have this engulfing, this tiny candle engulfing, and it's breaking above. So we might want to use that as an entry, and we're going to put our stop loss at, our stop loss is not going to be at 19.8 thereabout. Let's see, 19.5. So we can get into AVAX, but put our stop loss at 19.5 because that was an engulfing and not really a structure. I'm not going to lie, the real structure we need to watch out for is all this one above, like 24 for AVAX, for Sui $3 for Litecoin. You know, those are the real structure. But the reason why I'm just saying you can still get in nice for some people that just like to scale a little bit or profit and get out later. So even though you get in now, please make sure you put your stop loss at $19.5 for AVAX. Let's take a look at ADA. ADA to add the same thing. You see engulfing right there. If you can get into it, please make sure you put your stop loss at 0.6. Excuse me. All right, let's take a look at XRP. XRP is not a buy. XRP is not a buy. Please stay away from it. Let's take a look at Toncoin. Toncoin is not a buy, but is about to break the structure. So please stay away from Toncoin as well. Let's take a look at Esta. Esta also is not a buy. Okay, Esta is a buy, and I love this. You see, this is what I'm waiting for. And I see the reason why it's trendy. You see, is the reason why I was waiting for, this is what I was waiting for Bitcoin to do. You can see we had this structure up and down. Now, let's check it out. If you look at this now, you can see we hit the 0.786 Fibonacci nicely. That is huge if you look at it. So like A-star now, I can tell you, you can buy A-star. Yes, it's not financial advice. Trade with the money you can afford to lose. But you can see you can buy A-star right now because it hit 0.78 and our stop loss is going to be, so let me put our entry point. That's our entry point for A-star. A-star is a buy, then stop loss will be at 0.91. So A-star gives us a nice entry. You can see structure pull down to 0.78 after we have that long gun. So that looks good. A-star is looking good. I'm not gonna lie to you. Let's take a look at pump.fun. And speaking of pump.fun, I'm still going to launch the challenge, the coin, the token. The community is still growing fast. We're just waiting or just holding on due to one or two reasons. All right, pump fund is not a buy. Let's wait for it to break above. You can see it didn't create that structure to come down here, so wait for pump fund. Let's take a look at Ondo. Ondo also is creating that thing like Bitcoin did. So let's say we get into Ondo too because it breaks the engulfing candle, but make sure you put your stop loss at 0.7 thereabout for Ondo, because you know this signal for today is just 50-50, is not really the one. But you know, for some early entry, for some people that want to scale profit, you might want to make use of that, because even though you get in and it doesn't go away, you're not losing that much. Because if you look at Ondo now, even though you get in right now, it's just about 0.05 that's going to be what you'll lose if you get, depending on what you're betting on it, and less than 5% risk, I think. All right, that's that about altcoin. Let's now check what the meme tokens are up to. And if you look at meme tokens, you can see Dogecoin is not a buy, guys. You can see no structure broken, no engulfing we're seeing over there. Dogecoin is not a buy. Let's take a look at Shiba Inu. Shiba Inu also, it's not a buy. Let's take a look at Pepe. Pepe also, it's not a buy. Let's take a look at Popcat. The same thing, not a buy. Let's take a look at Trump Official, not a buy. Let's take a look at Millennial Coin, not a buy. Notcoin, not a buy. Dogs, not a buy. Deep, not Deep created that kind of movement though for what we saw with some of the altcoins, but let's take a look at it. It did not break it with the body, so we need to wait for today on to finish. So this one too not a buy. Let's leave it. X not a buy. So if you have any token you want me to take a look at for you, you might want to comment in the comment section or send me a DM. I'll add it to the one I'm analyzing, then I can tell you what you need to do about it. Remember, it's not financial advice, it's just for educational purpose and entertainment. Make sure you do your own research and trade with the money you can afford to lose. Also, if you look at Swamp, I told you Swamp last week is a buy, and it's still a buy. You can see it's still a buy. We had a structure broke above, it's still a buy, but our stop loss now will now be, we had this come down, up, come down, so our stop loss will be at 0.013 for Swamp. All right, that is that about the chart analysis regarding Bitcoin, altcoin, and meme coins or meme tokens, depending on how you call it. And thanks for riding with me on the show this morning. If you've not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, like, and share, and do not forget to turn on your notification bell so you can always get the best out of it. Also, you can follow me on TikTok, you can follow me on X, you can follow me on Facebook, and you can follow me on Instagram to get more of the nugget that I'll be dropping for you on this great platform. My name is still the same, Ahmed Oladmeji Kazim, aka KC the Great, and you've been watching the Bitcoin and Breakfast Show, and this is where we trade it and we do not gamble it. But we cannot wrap up the show without checking what the fear and greed index looked like. You can see earlier on I told you we're now sitting on extreme fear over the weekend, but due to some gains that we got between yesterday and this morning, we can now see is now sitting on fear. So now it's fear. Yesterday was fear, last week was fear, and last month was neutral. We're sitting at 29. So you need to know that a lot of people are already accumulating. So we're gonna see how the fear and greed index moves so fast, and that will determine how we need to know how this movement is going to move. All right, thanks for joining me on this show. I apologize for coming on late. It's 10 a.m. SCS time, 8 a.m. GMT. Sorry for coming up late, but the most important things was to bring the show to you guys. I'm Ahmed Oladmeji Kazim, aka KC the Great, and this is the Bitcoin and Breakfast Show live from the studio, and this is where we trade it and we do not gamble it. Until I catch you tomorrow on another wonderful packed episode of this beautiful show, please stay out of trouble, trade well, and remember, it's all about profits, not how much to trade, how much time or how much you trade, but how much profit you make. And remember, this is not financial advice, it's just for educational purpose and entertainment. Make sure you do your own research. I'll see you tomorrow, and peace out.